Fantastic. Basically, the only struggle that I could put with John, and I've said this before, is the way you ask the question. And that is again the storytelling technique that you use, because you can read the assessment criteria and ask the question that way, which is the first way I do it, and then change it to alter it to John's method of understanding. And it's the way I tell the story and ask the question that will unearth the answer within, and then therefore will pass on the knowledge of the subject. Okay, and that's the way this has worked. In some cases with these thought-based units that we were using, John, I had to reword the question maybe 4 or 5 times, and I kept it in the recording because at the end of those 4 or 5 times, when I get the question right for John, the answer's there. So it's proof of knowledge in the recording each time. John has actually completed his independent living with us over the summer. He spent a long time doing it. 2 other guys did the exact same thing during the summer as well. So John, is there anything from what you experienced from our assessment methods, is there anything that you liked a lot, or is there anything that you found that you struggled with yourself?
Well, I liked everything from the start of the course and on the summer in Ballykelly.
Yes, good. We extended more than the independent living. We got computers involved, and we had the performance involved. And John's leading role in that performance, we have a video and have used to get him a level in performance as well. If anyone wasn't there, you should get the DVD. It was fantastic, Sorcerer's Story. So just to talk a wee bit more about some of the other students as well. Now, I'm not allowed to name them because we haven't been allowed to, but I've changed their name to something very close. So there's a guy called Callum, I'm going to call him, and Callum has echolalia that we were talking about earlier on. And I find that that was a big struggle for us to overcome whenever we were teaching, because if we asked him a question that needed a sentence or a 2-sentence answer, we wouldn't have got it. If we asked him a question with a yes or no answer, we would have got it. But the amazing thing about Callum is that what he can recall. When he's told where he's going, who he's going with, the time he's there, the date he's there, the number of people there, their names, and everything else, that can be recalled at any time once he knows that content. He can come the next week and tell us that happened with all of those people there and all those tiny wee details. And I find that part of Callum really amazing. It's amazing to listen to, it's amazing to watch happen. But it's all about bringing people out of their shells. And Callum's, the time that we discovered Callum coming out of his shell was when we did the musical part, and we asked him to perform something live on video. He decided to sing a Robbie Williams song, which he also knew word for word. And we can't get Callum to string a sentence together or 2 sentences together, but he can actually sing an entire song from start to finish. So that's Callum's little bit of amazing. To go back to the storytelling part of what we do, and John, you've been part of the storytelling that I do, there's something special. We decided to make it creative for the students. So basically, John, we have been in Springfield.
That's right.
With a lot of different characters, including Iron Man, who was drunk. Okay? So characters from one place, Springfield here, mix the characters into Springfield and make a story up. We've also been to Craggy Island, and we did the same thing there, which ended up weird at the end, but I'll not go into that. But no.
Is that the underwear shop?
There was something down that route there. Yes, there was. It got weird at the end. But the storytelling process was something that gave imagination and gave an allowance to use imagination. So pairing 2 things together to make something completely new with the knowledge that you have about Springfield or the knowledge you have of your father Ted, it was great to see when we ended up with a story on the board. And that's what I created the story around the characters, and they then led the story with the characters and the location. But we ended up having a few different dynamics within that storytelling experience. So we had students there who were deciding what the story was. We had students deciding who was in the story. We all decided the location. We had one student who was picking songs to go with the story. And then we had one guy who I'm going to call Rory. And he was on the right-hand side of me, sitting on a chair. And he was the guy that when I first walked into Something Special was standing in the hallway. with his 2 feet together and his head down. And he didn't really interact very much, and he didn't like to be in the big room with everybody else a lot. And it was very hard for him to sit down to eat his lunch as well. But the storytelling experience brought him out of his shell completely. We ended up with Rory on the right hand side doing the sounds of the movie. So if it was a fast car, I did this one day, I went meow, and he literally went meow, and I said, right now, let's see what you can do. So he did all the rest of the sounds for the story that day, with his head up, sitting in a chair, laughing and talking with his fellow students again. And that's the power of storytelling is something that's really untold, and I think that's why we're here today to learn more about it, because if you can find the key to each of the students that you work with, then you will be able to better develop those students and take them further and grow them as people into the future, and give them something, not just education, but fun education at the same time. I've done this for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, I think it was maybe 3 weeks. And then something else, I had to go somewhere else, and John, I thought, you know, let's test this and see how we go. So John, could you come up and do the story for me, do my job? So this guy had watched me for 3 weeks, which is mayhem whenever you're doing it, it really is, it's mayhem. But by watching me for 3 weeks do it, he then took over the class while I did something else.
That's right.
And that is 3 weeks up.
I think we're going to break for lunch now. So it is.
So our story is called Anger versus Cows.
Anger versus
Cows.
A man was in a rush and he got into a car accident which was his fault. He got angry with the cows that were in the middle of the road and started beeping his horn to try to get them to move. He tried to overtake them and spooked some of the cows, which caused them to walk into the path of his car.
So this then caused him to swerve into the hedges. When he got out of the car, he was so angry, he was screaming at the cows as if they could understand. He shouted, "You stupid cows, look what you made me do. Now I'm going to miss one of the football mat." All the other passing cars refused to stop as they thought that this man was crazy.
Oh, swappy. Eventually the man started to calm down. He had realised his anger was getting him nowhere. With a calmer, clearer head, he was able to wave down a passing motorist. Together they came up with a plan to retrieve his car from the hedge. He thanked the motorist for stopping to help him and realised that if he had not been in such a bad mood and rushing, this would not have happened. Moral: losing your temper only makes problems worse. Signed, Stephen McLean to Betty McNerney.
Was this the one and only time I shouted?
We were going to use the real stories, but we
My dad is a big, hairy, baldy Ulster Scot man. He tells stories which are funny, rude, and far-fetched. He tells stories to children and uses songs. And so I'm back, so I'm going to teach a story about a song. So I need 2 students to volunteer. Yes, please do. Can you come up, please? Right, I bought my guitar. So I'm going to teach a story about 2 crafts. 2 crafts sat upon a wall, sat upon a wall, sat upon a wall. 2 crafts sat upon the wall on a cold and frosty morning. The first craft was set upon a wall, sat upon a wall, sat upon a wall. The first craft was sat upon a wall on a cold and frosty morning. The second craft was waiting by his ma, was waiting by his ma, was waiting by his ma. The second craft was waiting by his ma on a cold and frosty morning. 2 crafts sat upon the wall, sat upon a wall, sat upon a wa. Two cross, sat upon a wa on a cold and frosty morning. Right, students, did you all sit down? Right, what did you all learn today?
Where are you from?
We learned, we're not crabs anymore, okay, but we learned that there are words in your story,
That's right.
and we were trying to figure out what the words meant.
Yes.
For example, a crab.
Yes, and you know
So
what a crab
what
is?
does a crab mean? You tell me, what does a crab
A
mean?
crab, it means in English, is crows.
Okay.
And what else did you learn?
That we're two old crows.
Yeah, I'll give you credit for that.
Right.
And what else did you learn about in the song?
You were wailing away. What was
Greeting.
it? Greeting. Which
Greeting.
means
Yes.
crying.
Crying.
Crying, okay.
And there's another one, a part of this story. What else did you learn?
Help us out, Joe.
I'll give you, what's a wa?
Oh, yes, the wa.
Wow.
The two crabs sat upon the wa.
Oh, the wall.
That's right.
Okay.
So is this a story about two Scottish crows sitting upon a wall?
That's right.
And did you use music? We learned through the music.
That's right. By music, by the story.
Okay.
Right?
Did we learn anything else?
No, other than it was
We learned how to
we
take
better
part. We learned how to take part in a story.
That's great. I'd like to thank you students who participated. And I'd like to thank all the audience that has seen our story about that. Good.
Has anybody got any questions for this group?
Self-explanatory. Ask their own questions.
What was the overall sort of lesson behind your story?
I think the lesson was that the students were learning something new, something about a different language.
Different dialogue,
Different
dialects.
dialects.
Yep.
And what else?
And
We
we
learned how to take part.
learn how to take part and participate. And then other students wants to raise their hands up and then say, me, I want to go. And then they decided to volunteer. And we asked questions about what's the different phrases between with crass, was, and graded. So,
And did anyone else here know them words anyway?
Yes.
Or who is that the first time of them hearing them words?
I knew what greeting was. At
Yeah.
the end. I knew that one.
Even from their own story.
But I know another
If you
two.
have-
live in Ballymolly, you'll know what they're doing.
If you have heard their words before, even as an audience member, you again, as the source.
Everyone else. The wedding was at an outdoor event and everyone was told to bring their own drink. Lucy decided that as this was a very cost-effective way to drink more, she was bringing plenty of alcohol to share. Out of the event. I said we were alcohol to share with everybody.
Lucy offered everyone a drink of shots. The bride had a shot, the groom had a shot. Even the bridesmaids all had a shot of Lucy's drink. Lucy still had plenty left and offered to pass out the groom some drink. But he was a greedy man. And poor Lucy was so gullible she thought everyone knew how to share and take shots. But not the father of the groom. He drank and drank and drank till there was none left.
As you can see in the bottle. Lucy was so upset her screams and cries could be heard over and down the local mountains and the valley. Everyone who knew to share came to Lucy's aid to help comfort her when it was too late. The shot bottle was empty. Lucy learned a couple of very hard lessons that day. That it was alright, it's nice to share, Don't share your alcohol. Some people are greedy.
Very good.
I think you did a marvellous job today. It was structured, it was inclusive, it was fun, and you had active participation. So, would everybody agree with that? Well done.
Yeah.
What today has done, I think, reinforces, for me anyway, the amazing talents that each and every one of you have. Everyone in this room has got amazing talents. And everyone has that ability to tell a story. And they have a uniqueness from their own experience. So share your talent. And what that will do was, as we started out today, was it's about raising strong and resilient communities through your own talent. So can I just say, well done, Dale,